So let's see what he has to say about college debt and how to eliminate that the best way.
What will you do about student debt?
So this one's pretty personal for us. I don't know if you saw the rankings of the wealth of the various candidates for president, but our household's pretty much bringing up the rear on that one because we have six-figure student debt. Not because of any wrong choice, actually largely because Chasten made the selfless choice to be a teacher and go through some very expensive graduate school in order to get qualified to do that. We've got to make debt more affordable in terms of interest rates, which if you can refinance a house, you ought to be able to do that on student debt. And I think more... And I think more generous programs for public service loan forgiveness so that you can get it forgiven. And then on the front end, I think we should massively expand Pell Grants, and this time actually peg it to inflation so you don't have to go to Congress every time you want to raise them. But I want to mention, and a bunch of other steps to make college more affordable, but I want to mention something else that I think is important that doesn't come up as often in the conversation about college affordability. And it's college should absolutely be more affordable. It should also be more affordable to live and work in this country if you haven't been to college. Okay, we're talking about an American majority that may not ever have a university degree. And that shouldn't be a poverty sentence. So we've also got to make sure that through, first of all, making sure that we've got a decent minimum wage starting with 15. But also more broadly, that we honor work and that we have adequate benefits and good pay and affordable healthcare, housing, education, and the rest of it. That a working class lifestyle is a good one. It ought to be possible in this country to be able to afford to have your kids go to school and to put food on the table, and even to be able to afford to be generous in some way to your little league, to your church, whether you have gone to college or not. And so in addition to making going to college affordable, we got to make not going to college more affordable in this country.
I like the second part of his answer. Hated the first part of his answer. I was ripping my hair out.
But it also kind of sounded like, hey, listen, not everyone can go to Harvard, okay? So like, stay in your lane.
Definitely, but I think that there is a case to be made about, hey, college isn't for everyone, and for people who choose not to go to college, we need to make life better for them because right now they can't even live in this economy. So he says he supports a $15 minimum wage. Look, I liked his answer in the second half. I don't know if I believe him. In his book, which was published not too long ago, he lays out a story on the campus of Harvard University where he went to school, and he referred to student protesters who were demanding a living wage for the custodial workers at Harvard. He referred to them as social justice warriors. So he wrote that in his book. He wrote that in his book. It wasn't a book from 20 years ago. It was a book that was just published. I can't believe he thought that was a good idea. And I think that that's illustrative of what he really thinks when it comes to wealth and income inequality and all of that.
And where he stands when push comes to shove. I'm not saying that people are the same people that they were in college, but reflecting on that, it wasn't like, now that I look back on it, why wasn't I on the front lines, with those students advocating for a better wage for the custodial staff? Was it something in me and now I've redoubled my efforts? Like, it wasn't that. It was like, there I was and I walked right past those weird SJWs.
He kind of just made fun of them in his book, and I think that that's, for me, it was enlightening. Okay, so that's the second part. That was me saying that I liked the second part of his answer, which is kind of funny because I still criticized him. But let me just quickly get my student loan stuff out of the way. If I hear another candidate talk about refinancing loans as if that's a bold idea, I am literally gonna rip my hair out. That is not a bold idea. That's not even a real solution. Okay, it's pathetic, it's incredibly lame. Students have $1.5 trillion in debt right now.
What are you doing about it?
$1.5 trillion. Refinancing student loans is not a solution. You want to expand Pell Grants? Cool. Give me specifics. What does that mean? How much? Anyway.
But you know what, the fact that he played both sides, as we've talked about with many of these answers, and I'm glad you guys are picking up on why that had to be 2 minutes and 15 seconds long, is because he gave you an answer and you go, oh, and before he's done answering, you're back to an, oh, because he's answered in such a roundabout way on both sides of it, you can pick from it. Like, I actually did like that part about saying if the kid didn't go to college, he can at least still give to his church, or at least have his kid play Little League.
Right.
So you could like that part. But what it ends up doing is it disarms people, like even Chris Matthews, who will listen long enough to interrupt you and then ask you a follow-up question to point out. He said $15 minimum wage, universal health care, all these things that when we asked him specifically about each of those things to implement, he wasn't always on the most progressive side of it.
Right.
So if Elizabeth Warren says, hey, give me this, 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 and that. If Bernie Sanders says, give me this, 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 and that. Some of the things that he was just saying, they'd say, oh, you crazy progressive, how do you pay for that garbage?
Right.
They didn't ask him that because he just said a long, happy answer where he gave the part that the people with money do want. Hey, how about you guys refinance, you lazy bums?
Right.
And how about you guys stop choosing to go for these overpriced universities, you crazy kids? So he gave both sides of it and then even asked him, how do you pay for all this that you said you're gonna do? There's no full answer to that.
Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.